And a first alert in Greenville County, a homicide investigation is underway after the sheriff's office says a woman shot and killed her partner. Deputies responded to Beatty Street around 10:30 last night. There they found Kenoshia Wheeler shot with a gunshot wound. Deputies say Wheeler and her partner, Deandra James, got into an argument that led up to the shooting. James was arrested and charged with murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. She was booked into the Greenville County Detention Center and denied bond.
This case centers on the death of 29-year-old Kenoshia Yvonne Wheeler, who was found fatally shot inside a residence on Beatty Street in Greenville County, South Carolina. Law enforcement classified the incident as a homicide. A suspect, identified as 33-year-old Deandra James, Wheeler's partner, was arrested and charged in connection with the shooting. What initially appeared to be a domestic disturbance evolved into a criminal investigation involving forensic evidence, witness statements, and prosecutorial review. This is Facebook Crime. We deliver clear, factual, and up-to-date true crime stories. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on the latest cases and investigations. Kenoshia Yvonne Wheeler was 29 years old at the time of her death. Publicly available records provide limited details about her personal life, employment history, or daily routine. This absence of information has left investigators and the public relying largely on official findings rather than personal narratives. Wheeler resided in Greenville County, South Carolina. There is no public documentation indicating prior criminal involvement. Her name does not appear in publicly available arrest databases related to violent offenses. Investigators have not released information suggesting she was under investigation or involved in ongoing legal disputes at the time of her death. What is known is that Wheeler was in a romantic relationship with Deandra James, and the two were together at the residence on the night of the shooting. The nature of their relationship prior to that night, whether marked by prior disputes, law enforcement calls, or domestic complaints, has not been fully disclosed by authorities. Deandra James, age 33, was identified by law enforcement as Wheeler's partner and the primary suspect in the case. James was present at the residence at the time of the incident and was taken into custody following the investigation. Public records indicate that James was charged with murder and possession of a weapon during the commission of the alleged offense. At the time of charging, James was held at the Greenville County Detention Center. Bond information indicated that James was being held without bond, pending court proceedings. Authorities have not publicly detailed James's criminal history, if any, nor have they released information regarding prior domestic incidents involving the couple. Prosecutors have stated that the case will rely on physical evidence, investigative testimony, and statements gathered during the early stages of the inquiry. According to law enforcement statements, deputies were dispatched to a residence on Beatty Street following reports of a disturbance. The exact origin of the call, whether from a neighbor, occupant, or third party, has not been publicly confirmed. Investigators stated that an argument occurred inside the residence prior to the shooting. The nature of the argument, what it was about, and how long it lasted have not been disclosed by authorities. Authorities have not indicated whether alcohol, substances, or external stressors played a role. What has been confirmed is that during or following this argument, a firearm was discharged, resulting in Wheeler sustaining a fatal gunshot wound. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Deputies arrived at the location shortly after the call was received. Upon entry, they discovered Wheeler unresponsive with a gunshot wound. Emergency medical personnel confirmed she was deceased. The scene was secured, and investigators from the sheriff's office and coroner's office initiated standard homicide procedures. This included documenting the scene, photographing evidence, collecting physical items, and conducting preliminary interviews. The Greenville County coroner officially ruled the death a homicide, confirming the cause of death as a gunshot wound. Investigators focused on reconstructing the sequence of events inside the residence. This process involved locating and securing the firearm believed to be involved, examining the trajectory and location of the gunshot wound, collecting potential gunshot residue evidence, and reviewing the layout of the residence to establish positions of individuals involved. Law enforcement began collecting statements from the suspect and any potential witnesses. Authorities have not stated whether neighbors heard gunshots or if surveillance footage from nearby properties was obtained. Digital evidence, including phone records and communication data, may be part of the investigation, though this has not been publicly confirmed. Based on the evidence collected, investigators identified Deandra Dontia James as the suspect. James was taken into custody and formally charged. The murder charge indicates prosecutors believe the evidence supports an intentional or legally defined unlawful killing. The weapons possession charge reflects the use of a firearm during the commission of the alleged offense. James was booked into detention and awaited initial court appearances. Prosecutors indicated that additional evidence would be presented during preliminary hearings. The case entered the judicial process following the arrest. During early proceedings, the court addressed issues such as representation, custody status, and scheduling. The prosecution is expected to present forensic findings, investigative testimony, and physical evidence. The defense may challenge the interpretation of evidence, question procedural steps taken during the investigation, or present alternative explanations for the shooting. The outcome will depend on the evidence presented and how it is interpreted by the court. This case occurred amid ongoing concerns about gun violence and domestic disputes escalating into fatal incidents. While investigators have not categorized the case as domestic violence publicly, the relationship between the victim and suspect places the incident within that broader category of cases reviewed by law enforcement nationwide. Local authorities have not indicated whether policy changes or community interventions are being considered as a result of this incident. As of the most recent updates, the suspect remains in custody. The case is moving through the court system. Full details of the argument and shooting remain undisclosed. Key unanswered questions include what specifically triggered the argument, whether prior incidents occurred at the residence, what evidence will be central at trial. The death of Kenoshia Yvonne Wheeler is under formal legal review. Investigators have identified a suspect, filed charges, and initiated prosecution. While the basic framework of the case is established, many details remain confined to court filings and evidence yet to be presented publicly. As proceedings continue, additional facts are expected to emerge that will clarify how events unfolded inside the residence on Beatty Street and how the legal system will ultimately address the charges filed. Thanks for watching. Did you find this case informative? If you want more true crime stories, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on the latest cases and investigations.